We're here live in Southwest Florida at the beach. This is the beautiful and very busy Gulf of Mexico this morning. We've got some rough waves, we've got some bad weather on the way, and we'll see if the weather behaves for 30 minutes or not. That's one of the fun parts about being live, is that we don't know what's going to happen, and I love that element of surprise, don't you? Also reminds me of one of my favorite expressions, which I may not be saying it correctly, but you know, it's not what happens to you, it's how you react to it, right? Hi Judy and Grace, Christine, Tutu, and Eve, good morning. Hi Donna. Also, my little trick for keeping the camera out of the sun, I believe, is helping buffer some of the wind this morning. So it's actually really windy here. Let me know how much wind you're hearing, because of the way the wind's coming, my drawstring bag that's behind the camera that's keeping it out of the sun has also scooped around it, and it's hugging the camera, which makes me think that it's also buffering some of the wind noise. So you'll have to let me know how loud the wind sounds, because it's super windy here, and I have a feeling that this is going to buffer some of that sound for you. So let me know what you think. What sound you don't hear the wind. That is freaking up. But that's actually what I'm talking about. So see how I'm blocking the sun by putting the inverted on Dolly's handle? We'll see how this is curling around. When the phone sits here, it sits inside that little hug, and I think that's what's keeping you from hearing the wind. Like, here's the wind. Can you hear it now? Well, of course, it died down just as soon as I said listen to it. But anyway, hey, that's pretty exciting, right? Oh my goodness. Solving two problems with one DIY fix. That's a 2 thumbs up kind of day, right? I mean, I think it's safe to say here that we're all like-minded people, so a DIY win is a good day in the first place, but a DIY win solves 2 major problems. I'll take it. That sounds very exciting. Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Kristin Omdahl Show. This is episode 1031, and we are live in Southwest Florida at the beach. It's a stormy day here today, and I do believe we have major storms on the way, but it's still sunny right now, so I figured we might as well give the show a try. And although we don't know what's going to happen, that's kind of the beauty of live, is letting it play out and reacting to it as we're going to react to it. Yes, it is stormy, and it's going to get stormy here today. I am wearing the Kelly earrings and my Kristin Omdahl Show t-shirt that you can find in the Teespring shop full of merchandise below the video. And I also tried something new with my hair today. I watched a video on TikTok, I believe, the other day, showing a girl with really long and really thick hair, which their tutorials are always amazing, but not always something that can translate into someone like me who has super fine baby hair. And so she did milk braids by putting a scarf through ponytails in the back, then braiding each section down and wrapping them and tying them over her head. Well, I tried to do it exactly as she did it, and I did not have enough hair for it. And she also used a bandana, which was way too bulky for my super fine hair. So I ended up using one of the silky scarves that I bought on Amazon a while back to do other headscarf tying techniques, which I've shown you some of them. And it's a much thinner fabric that was able to fold up tighter. So I put my hair in 2 ponytails at the back of my head, threaded the scarf through both ponytails, like between my roots and the ponytail, and then instead of braiding, I rope twisted, which is another braiding technique that I enjoy. I rope twisted the scarf in one hand and the hair in another hand, and made my 2 rope braids, secured them with elastics, and then the girl had crisscrossed them in the back before wrapping them and tying them. My hair wasn't long enough for that, and neither was my scarf. So I just let them grow up straight, and I'll show you the back, and you'll see why she crisscrossed it, because you can see the flat scarf in the back now. You see, I made 2 ponytails. Then I threaded the scarf through both ponytails between the root and the ponytail, then used each strand of the scarf with that side's ponytail to create a rope braid. And then after I secured both of those ends, tied them on top of my head. So, and I think that with someone with super fine hair like me, I think matching the scarf to a similar tone color to my hair is what gives me more of a heavier volume hairstyle, which, can you see how big my smile is thinking that I gave the illusion of more hair today? That's really exciting to me. Hi Catherine, hi Stacy, hi Lisa. Sorry if I know I missed a bunch of names because I started talking quickly this morning, but I appreciate you all being here, and happy Thursday, Friday Eve, is that it? Thank you, Tammy. Isn't that so simple too? I hope I can't take it down and show you in the wind and all that stuff. If you would like a tutorial on this hairstyle, I would be more than happy to make one for you, recorded. But did that seem rather simple, what I explained that I did, or not really? It's okay if it's a not really. That just means it needs a video. And I can't wait to do it again. I'm really excited about this hairstyle. I love it. Dump was, oh no, sunshine got snow again last night. Hi Donna and Jan, Marcia. I don't know what not really means, Christine. Not really you understand, not really you don't understand. Lori needs a video. Yeah, it's fine. Not really don't understand, Steffi, or not really do need a video. Would love a video. Sure, yeah, I'd be happy to do a video because I'm more than happy to do it again. I'm super, super excited about this hairstyle. Didn't get it, Steffi. All right, great. Not great. I would love for you to have gotten it just by explaining it, but I am more than happy to make a tutorial video if you don't. That's no problem whatsoever. We'll do it soon. But I assure you, it's super simple. Like, I only had to do it twice. I tried it once with bandana. Well, I tried the exact hairstyle the girl did, but it didn't work for my hair. Once I came up with an idea that would work for thin, fine hair, I got it on the first try. So I have a feeling you will be able to as well, as long as you already know how to do rope twist braids. And if you don't, we'll go over that in detail also. So yay! I found something for us. Yay! And if you have thicker hair, no problem. You can do it. You'll just be able to do it much easier. That's all. It's a hairstyle for anybody, as long as your hair's long enough. Obviously, if you have a pixie cut, no, this isn't for you. Then you just tie the scarf around your head. Hi, Natalie. Does anybody have any questions? Thanks, Sharon. Yeah, video's always fun. But there's also no reason to do a video while I'm trying something. So I had to make sure it worked first and try it out. But now I can do the video. All right, I promised to bring you something this morning, and can you believe I remembered and it's here? I'm so proud of myself for that. I had a really busy day yesterday and lots of highs and lows, which is good. And well, the highs are good, the lows are not good, but everything worked out in the end. It was just a lot of roller coaster curve yesterday, but I survived. So here's the piece that I mentioned that was not blocked, and I blocked one of them just so that you could see how important it is to do a gauge swatch and block it first so you know what your measurements are going to be. Look at how much bigger this one is than this one. And I only lightly blocked it. I didn't even do a full blocking because I did not want to take out my final tails yet. I didn't want to weave these in just in case I needed to make any adjustments and unravel. So at this point, I usually like to do a light blocking with the steamer on my iron so that I don't have to weave in the very last end. I weave in all my loose ends except for that last one. And then this is the piece that is blocked. And trying to hold them up together might be a challenge in this wind. But I wanted to show you how much bigger that second one is. Yeah, can you see how much longer and wider it is? But you can certainly see how much more open it is. Let's see, let's try laying it flat because in this wind, I can't do that. So I'm going to lay it flat on my towels and then pick the camera up so you can see. So I'll put the biggest one down first, blocked one. I really want to drive home how important it is to know what your blocked measurements are when you're deciding how big you want something to be. Granted, a pattern's always written with that gauge material, and if you block your gauge swatch, then you can trust that even if something looks smaller, it will get bigger. But I know not everybody believes that or thinks it's a valuable thing to do. So I want to show you the before and after here. You can see how very different they look. Okay, so take the camera off for a second. All right, blocked ones on the bottom and unblocked ones on the top. Can you see how incredibly different they are in size? And I'm going to lift that one so you can see how beautiful the stitch pattern is in the blocked one as well. Isn't that gorgeous? So there it is blocked. Now I'll try to do this one-handed. But I want you to see that it's a lot smaller. So let's say that you wanted to skip the step of doing your gauge swatch and you said, oh no, it'll be fine, right? I know what we like to say when we want to skip a step. We say, oh no, I'll be fine. But what if you were measuring based on this and you wanted it to be exactly the right size for you, and you measured based on this one, and then you washed it and blocked it, or you skipped that step altogether, and then you wore it 10 times and said, oh man, it needs to get washed. And then it turns out this size. And then it's too big, right? Can you see that? And this isn't even the full blocking yet. I did not wash it. I wanted to do a preliminary blocking just to be sure that I was, just to be sure that I could see all my stitches and make sure that my decreases really did match up to my increases. Remember, I'm not following a pattern, I'm writing a pattern. So some of the things I do are not in the same order as when you do them. Some of them are out of order, but it still gives me the opportunity to show you these pieces so that you can see with a really solid example why it's so important to block something. Now this is just a poncho. So if you did make that mistake here, yes, this is Be So Baby yarn. If you made that mistake on a poncho, not super duper critical, but what if you made that mistake on a pullover, a skirt, a dress, something that's worn to size? Then it is a problem, right? Can you see that now? So I know it's very tempting to say, oh no, I'll be fine. I don't need to block my gauge swatch. It looks fine. I wanted you to see that example and see how much different those two pieces look between blocking and unblocking. Does anybody have any questions about it? Catherine, on any given yarn, depending what size hook or what size needles you use, everything is affected by water differently, and it's always a good thing to check. Because if you're making something that you're going to wear, eventually it is going to touch water because you're going to wash it, even if you don't want to block it or do a gauge swatch at all. If you're making wearables, you're going to wash them eventually, so eventually you're going to need to know how it reacts to water. So you either do it now, solve the problem up front, or you do it later and then you have a piece that's too big. Or not. A blanket, it's obviously not as critical as a sized garment. But I thought it was definitely worthy of a conversation, and ask me your questions. What kind of questions do you have? It's really important that everybody understands this, because the success of crafting often comes in how things hold up over time, right? We're not spending all these hours for things to only last one time, right? Yes, that is Be So Baby yarn. Number 3, DK weight. Charlie is working on the Simone poncho. Wonderful. Forgot to do her gauge swatch. Well, all right. Depending on, and it's a poncho. Is it going to be super critical? Maybe, maybe not. It might be if your gauge is super off, it will affect your yardage. Maybe you'll make something too tight, too loose. Maybe you'll use more yarn or less than the pattern calls for, or maybe you'll get it just the right size, or it'll be too big or too small. Like, it depends on in what direction your gauge is off. But that is why gauge is listed in a pattern. Gauge is listed in a pattern to help you with size and to help you with yardage estimates, because the yardage estimates and the size are based on blocked gauge. And that's why I was really excited to show you a physical example of the difference between two exact same size pieces, one slightly bucked and one not. So you can see how much it really does affect it. And even the math involved, like, you know, if you're off by a 1/4 inch on one motif, think about that times 9 when you're doing, or 9 or 10 when you're doing that on a garment. So like, let's say you're doing motifs around the bust circumference of a garment, and your motifs are supposed to be 4 inches. 4 times 9 would be 36 for a 36 measurement bust, or 10 times 4 would be 40 inch for a 40 inch bust. Let's say you're off by a 1/4 inch. A 1/4 inch by 10 is 2.5 inches. So then instead of being a 40 inch circumference, then then it would be a 42.5. Can you see how a 1/4 inch sounds like nothing, but when you're doing it in motifs or doing it in repeats, it becomes a big deal then. So let's say your repeats are supposed to be X number of stitches for 4 inches, and you only got 3.5 inches. And you're like, oh, it'll be fine, it's just a 1/2 inch. Well, that times 10 multiples is 4 inches difference. So a 1/2 inch sounds like not much in your gauge swatch, but that 1/2 inch times 9 or 10 multiples makes a huge difference. Is there an issue? Yes, Melanie, once you get in the habit of it, you will be happier with your fits. Yes. I have done lots of gauge swatch videos, Christine. You can find them here on my YouTube channel, but I am more than happy to do another one. Absolutely. I've talked about it many, many times on the live stream show podcast. We've done lots of tutorials on it here too, but yes, it's always a good conversation to keep going, because there are always plenty of people that don't understand the significance of it, or don't respect the significance of it, or don't know about it. You know, if you're new to crafting and you're just picking up a pattern for a first time, you may not even know what that section of the pattern means. Gauge. What the heck do I need that for, right? I mean, yeah, so it's always a good conversation to keep bringing up time and time again, because it's something that just doesn't get picked up very well. It's amazing how many times I get customer service emails where their issue ends up being about the gauge. You know, my pattern, my corner's ruffled. Did you block it yet? No? Okay. You know, even doing double increases in a top-down triangular shawl, or doing double increases in a square motif, you'd be amazed how many times people will rip something out because it's ruffled on them. Well, you're doing double increases, and until the fabric does work its way out, it is going to ruffle a little bit at first. What was I going to say? Sometimes it's hard to read comments and speak at the same time, and I end up losing both. But let's see, let me get it back. Yes, so sometimes when you're doing those double increases, it will only be ruffled on that row, and as you work the following rows or rounds, it flattens out. Sometimes it requires the actual blocking process, and you know how it's affected in water, and a lot of times, most times, those ruffling things flatten out. That's great, Christine. Does anybody have any questions? I'm so excited about my hair. I know I said it too many times already, but I am. And I'm just excited that I'm excited about something this morning. You know, you have days like that where you're like, hey, I'm excited first thing in the morning. This could be a really good day. And if not, at least I was excited first thing in the morning. Right? You can take it as a win however you want to look at it, but anything that makes you smile first thing in the morning is good. Oh, the bird is back again this morning. The bird was tapping on the window, and this time Bjorn is interested. And so I got up to go look at look for the bird this morning, and he did appear. I did see him, and then he did tap the window again once I was watching him, and then Bjorn and I had to start getting ready. So Bjorn ended up staying with the bird and watching him at the window. It made me wonder what Bjorn thinks of it and what the significance is of it. But the bird is back for the third day in a row, tapping on the window. And if I had more time, I was going to go and talk to him and see if I could talk to animals anyway, so that's not weird for me. It may be weird to some of you, but it's not weird for me. Yeah, maybe it's Becker. Yeah. Since Bjorn is so interested, it made me wonder if it's Becker, so I definitely want to go see. And trying not to cry, bringing up this thing. It's still hard, it's still raw. Do I have a go-to crochet stitch? Gosh, no. There are lots of stitches that I like, though. One of my favorite stitch looks is the delta stitch because it looks like flowers. I do love the delta stitch, but I wouldn't say that it's my go-to because I do feel like it's more of an intermediate level stitch pattern. I try not to use it very often to intimidate beginners, but I do love the look of it a lot. I love the look of a floral stitch pattern. Actually, I love the look of lots of different, anytime something has a floral vibe to it, I do like that a lot. But I don't have a go-to stitch pattern, I really don't. I like variety. Variety is the spice of life to me. But it's a great question. Does anybody else want to share what their go-to stitch pattern is? Thanks, Edna. I'm trying. Do I still have my hooks? Yes, I do have a couple of sets of hooks with my names on them, with my name on them, so I'm really glad that I still have those. You'll be seeing them in my videos. I've been moving so much lately that I have not been painting my nails, and when my nails look like this, I don't think it's very professional to do my videos, so you'll have to forgive me. I've taken a couple of weeks off of making videos with my hands because my nails are trash. But I would like to think that I'll be done with the heavy lifting pretty soon here, and when I am, then I'll do my nails again and start doing videos again. But I have just taken a couple of weeks off from that, and I'm sorry about that. Hopefully by next week I should have the bulk of the heavy lifting done. I'm pretty sure I'm close to being done with it, and I'd like to try to rush through that because I'm very anxious to get back to making videos. But I wanted to explain that. This is why. And my nails are so thin and they peel. Like, my nails are thinner than my hair is thin, if that makes any sense. And so anytime I don't keep polish of some kind on them, they just, they peel and break very easily. And also, it's just the kind of work I've been doing has just been too rough for any kind of a manicure anyway. So I'll get back to my regular life, hopefully sooner than later, back to manicures and back to making videos. My heart just hasn't been there either, but I'm feeling very anxious to get back to them now, so that's a good feeling too. And I know I've got a long list. I know you've got lots of requests, and for existing patterns, older patterns, and new things, and so many things I want to teach you. Can I talk about the market bag circle around? I'm not sure what you mean. Are you asking about a specific pattern? Are you asking, I'm not sure what that even means as a question. I'm sorry. Can you elaborate on that? If I can understand the question, you know, I'm more than happy to answer. If I have an answer, I'm not sure what you mean. I can explain a market bag construction, but I'm not sure if you're referring to something specifically. But some of my market bags start as an increasing from the center out for the base, kind of like on the crown of a hat. And it's actually a hat worked in the opposite direction, right? You start working in increases to create a flat circle, and then you stop working in increases and then work straight up the walls to create the bag. It's very similar to a hat construction. I definitely want to make that poncho. Yeah, it's gonna be so cute, Lori. I think you're gonna like it too. Yana, yes, I love to talk to strange animals too. I definitely talk to my own animals, but I love to talk to animals in the wild. Uh, thanks, Liliana. Thank you, Doris. Kimberly, I really don't understand. I'm sorry. She wants to know about a market bag since it doesn't go in an even round. I'm not sure what you mean. I would need you to be more specific. Maybe email after the show with a specific pattern and specific questions in the pattern. I will try to help you. But Juana, are you on a farm? No, I'm at the beach right now. I appreciate all the questions though, everybody. I'm more than happy to answer anything. Let's show you the beach today. The beach is wild today, and it will be a little louder now when I pull you out from the little protected spot we have with the drawstring bag. But look at these rough waves. We've got to go down to the water's edge too. Thank you, Karen. Yeah, it's probably just me, kind of like how I never leave the house without concealer because I'm so self-conscious of the dark circles under my eyes. I feel the same way about my nails. It's just a personal quirk, I suppose. Look at how busy it is. Look at those lovely cabanas that we all wish we could stay in all day. At least I do. The water is definitely not clear, but that's because of all the sand churning in the rough waves. That's okay. It's absolutely beautiful. Liliana, there's contact information for me in the video description, and you can also contact me through my website. I hope you can tell the contrast between how windy it sounds in and out of our little protected cubby here. I am so proud of this idea. Like, oh my goodness. I agree, Lori. It's like if your nails look good, then they disappear into the background in tutorial videos, and when they don't look good, you'd be amazed at how often you get negative comments because they are distracting. So like if I touch my face and I get makeup underneath my nails, I get complaints about that. If I don't have nail polish on, if it's a color that people don't like, if it's a neutral color and it's well manicured, it blends into the background and I don't get issues at all. But as soon as it's noticeable, I get lots of complaints about my nails. So it's just not worth it. If it's that distracting to people, then it's not a good teaching opportunity, and my goal is to teach people and empower people with crafts and being creative. And if my nails are that distracting, it's not worth it. I know, isn't that amazing? That's why I wanted to take the camera out from my little cubby so you could see the contrast. That's amazing. We've solved two problems with one beautiful bag. Anyhow, yes, I understand you can't please everybody, and I agree about that. Sometimes there's truth to everything though too, and if nails and hands end up being disruptive to the lesson, then it is an issue. If it's just personal preference and people being catty or rude, then I do overlook it. But there's always a balance between everything. Sometimes there's truth in negativity too, and I've always been open to taking realistic criticism, and I have to find a happy medium between just people that are happy, just people that are mad no matter what, and if there's an issue in between. Yeah, we have strict rules on TV. When I go to the TV show, that we have strict rules about how to do our nails before coming to the show. They must be polished, it must be a neutral color, and it must be short. And that's been similar rules all the way back to when I started on TV. Like, how long ago was that? 16 years ago maybe. Well, that's a good point too, Eve, but you know, it's just something that I was taught from TV, and I apply it to video too, and it is kind of interesting as well. I think it's time for a quote. Oh, you know what else we should do? Let's do our 30 seconds of closing our eyes. I love doing this with you. I love sharing it with you, and I've been overwhelmed with all the positive comments that I've gotten that people have really enjoyed it. So let's close our eyes for 30 seconds. I'll do the counting so you don't have to peek and see if my eyes are open. I'm not going to leave you hanging. Trust me for 30 seconds, and let's just listen to the waves and give our eyes and our brain a 30-second break. So starting right now. Okay, I counted to 35, but I know I count fast, so maybe counting 1,000, 1,000 to 35 is accurate. If it wasn't and it went a little longer, I suppose it never hurts to relax your eyes and your brain for 5 seconds more, right? I hope you enjoyed that. And why don't we pull out a quote now from Create, Share, Inspire Notebook, Volume 1, Issue 1. These are available, 7 issues, all available on Amazon all over the world, and available on my website, along with all of my other birds, books. And let's randomly pick a quote. Oh, yes, 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 yes. I needed this today so much. This is a Cherokee proverb. Like I said, I had a day full of a lot of crying yesterday and a lot of meltdowns. So, and having started the day with a fun and successful hair tutorial, this one, and feeling excited about that, this quote means a lot to me. Don't let yesterday use up too much of today. Yes, 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 yes. We could remind ourselves of this every day. Every day is a brand new start, a brand new chapter, a brand new day to do anything you want, to think anything you want, and to do anything you want. Thank you, Cherokee proverb. Do not let yesterday use up too much of today. Oh, fits me so well today, but we are more alike than we are different, and I know that that will resonate with a lot of you too. Thank you all so much for taking time out of your busy day to spend a few minutes here with me. I hope you enjoyed the sunrise, the beach, the sound of the waves, the lack of the sound of wind today, my tutorials and show and tells, chatting with me and everyone else. Let us make time to create, share, and inspire today and every day. Have a wonderful day, everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow for the next episode of the Kristin Omdahl Show. Bye-bye.